Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. So, uh, firstly, I'm sure that you all got to watch the World Cup and got to see each of the host countries uh, involved in that whole thing. So, that's kind of neat. So, it came to an end, of course, Spain being the overall winner against Argentina 1-0. So, congratulations to Spain on that result. Uh, so that was Sunday. Well, yesterday was an interesting day for me, and I got to spend a moment with a wondrous creature who had limited time left on the planet. And I thought, oh, that's kind of a neat thing, and it reminds me of my own childhood. I'm just going to doodle something out. I mean, if you've been here before, you know I just kind of use my sketchbook as almost like a journal of sorts. But uh, I grew up in a rural area, in a farm, my grandfather's farm, actually. And we had this wondrous creature that lived there and treated us as if we were her puppies. And yeah, anyway, so as we got older, though, kind of lost interest in us and really just liked being around babies. Well, I think if you're fortunate enough to have a good friend like that, uh, it just makes life a little bit better. Well, ooh, fuzzy wuzzy on there. So, yesterday, as I said, I got to spend some time, just a moment, and I think that's important. We get we get hints sometimes of joy and happiness from our furry friends. And I don't know if you've ever been around a creature that is like that. They have sympathetic sort of emotions with us. I heard somewhere that dogs don't really keep track of time. Now, how do they know this? I'm not really sure how they know this, but they have this tendency to be so excited when you're around. And unlike cats, and I better not speak too ill of cats because uh, we have two cats here where I live, and I don't want to make them mad because they are little rulers of the universe, of course. Dogs like to have a duty of sorts, a job. You know, you couldn't get a cat to tow a sled, for example. That wouldn't work out. But dogs, though, the dogs are loyal friends, and they really look forward to being around you. I just wanted to sort of acknowledge that. Um, I don't know, maybe I'm not feeling so chatty. I can say this much. The last thing that you want from a friend like that is to have them suffer. And going back to that concept of how we think that dogs don't really track time, we don't really get them for very long. You know, dogs don't live 80, 90 years. And during that time, they can get sick, and they can suffer a little bit. Some creatures kind of hide that. Here's something else that I've talked about, I guess, in the past too. As remarkable as dogs are, sometimes horses are like that too. Uh, some hospitals will bring in dogs to hang out with the patients. They sense things. They also understand that time is limited with us, too. I remember being a kid and being near a horse that I kind of knew. And my mother had a friend who had dropped by who herself had limited time. And the horse recognized that somehow and kind of ignored me and everyone else and went over to this other woman and kind of like, without putting any weight on her, rested his head on her shoulder. So horses can pick up on that kind of stuff too. It's an interesting kind of phenomenon. A horse can be trained to run through a crowd, and which is why police use them for crowd control. Uh, but you can see video of where they will look through the crowd. The horse will look through the crowd, and regardless of the bit in the mouth, they can navigate the crowd around children, let's say, or somebody with certain disabilities. And often the police officers on horseback don't recognize what's going on in the crowd. They just go through the crowd. But the horse will make their way around them. And then everyone else, like protesters or whoever, they're going to get trampled. The cavalries of days gone by, same sort of things would happen. They would avoid the severely injured, for example. A horse can run on cobblestone. I mean, you can find lots of videos with that, but I mean, I've witnessed different versions of that in person. Anyway, I just wanted to, anyway, right now my brain's just sort of firing information. I've been sent like video of horses. I guess it would be sort of like the guards maybe around Buckingham Palace or other places anyway. Um, just reacting to people that are, getting their pictures taken. And you'd have somebody with, could be in a wheelchair, let's say, and the horse would just be doing their job. And they would recognize this person and just take a moment to hang out for a moment and pose almost for a picture. It's kind of remarkable. But yeah, getting back to dogs. You'll often hear someone say that they're sometimes too good for us. And perhaps because of their loyalty and their excitement to see us, it might feel that way. But I think in a lot of ways, they exist to remind us of our human relationships and how we don't get a lot of time, and to try to be more aware of our time. So, in saying that, I think dogs are aware. They're just so happy to spend that time with us. Just a thought, just a few thoughts. Hey, I don't want to speak ill of cats. Cats sometimes will approach you in a comparable way if you're kind of having a rough day. They don't have the same level of sympathy, I don't think, though, but every so often there's something that kind of will come over them. Animals, I guess. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you take the time to hang out with friends and family, and even a stranger or two if they seem like perhaps they need just a word or two. As sometimes I do as well. Let's try to finish up a couple of things here. Something that I find interesting, especially with older dogs, is how you kind of see it more in their faces. Like the fur around their faces kind of gets a little lighter, a little whiter, and you can see the time kind of builds into their demeanor as well. The age, I mean. I can tell you as somebody who's been around a lot of animals. Oh, I've been bit by many. even a horse accidentally. Oh, my good buddy Teddy the horse, which I probably told that story to, who actually, I was feeding an apple to Teddy, and I used my thumb to sort of steady the apple because it was rolling around in my hand, and I was just a little fella, and my thumb rolled like that to keep the apple from falling, and Teddy bit my thumb with the apple and picked me up by my thumb, and you can't really see the scar here. It was a pretty good one, and yeah, picked me up off the ground, and then realized that perhaps, I mean, I wasn't screaming. I was probably more in shock. Um, realized it wasn't just an apple, and set me back on the ground. Anyway, that was a moment. Good old Teddy. I think that's it. Just for doodle's sake. I was just thinking about that. I hope you have, again, a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know in the comments if you have a story like that, or any stories like that about a good friend like that you got to spend some time with. All right. Ciao for now.